There's a new lawsuit that appears to be the first of its kind that's being filed by 2 of Wisconsin presidential electors. And they're now against the 10 fake electors that try to act like they were them. And in trying to overturn the election, of course, and let Donald Trump maybe steal that state. Yes, we're continuing down this same road. So what is it that these suing electors want from these fake ones? Let's go into the details. Because the Democrats who brought the lawsuit in Dane County Circuit Court, they're also seeking to punish 2 attorneys as well who worked on this effort. They want a judge to award all involved up to $200,000 apiece in damages to ensure the losing side in future elections doesn't file official-looking paperwork with Congress claiming to be the winner. We know that's the process that they went through. So this new lawsuit, brought by some of the same attorneys, seeks to go further by asking a judge to find the Republicans engaged in a conspiracy aimed at defrauding voters. Let's name some names. Defendants' actions helped lay the foundation for a nationwide scheme to override the results of the 2020 election, thereby setting an anti-democratic precedent that jeopardizes all future elections inside and outside the state. That's what the attorney Jeffrey Mandel wrote. Now, those bringing the suit, they're asking for a judge to block the fake electors from engaging in similar activity in the future and from ever serving as electors. They're also seeking to have them pay a variety of fines and damages, noting that one statute would allow a judge to make each pay that $200,000 that I was mentioning a second ago. Now, the fake electors are still denying that they did anything wrong. So I'm not really sure what they said that they did do, or if they're saying that they did this stuff, but it's just not wrong. This is what they did. So Democrats met in the state capitol to cast the state's 10 electoral votes for Biden, the real ones. At the same time, the fake electors gathered in another part of the capitol to fill out paperwork claiming Trump had won. They submitted their filings to Congress, the National Archives, a federal judge, and Wisconsin Secretary of State Doug LaFollette. At the time, the fake electors said that they held the meeting to ensure that the state's electoral votes were cast for Trump if a court order later determined that he was the true winner of the state. That's really what they were doing. And also the filings from the fake electors in Wisconsin and elsewhere helped Trump and his allies argue that the results were in dispute as they tried to prevent Congress from finalizing those votes. So it was a trigger vote, Jake. What they were trying to do was just have this whole thing set up as fake electors who were not put in those positions, so that just in case, if the election was flipped and maybe courts looked at it, they could have it already set up and ready to go.
So guys, this is the heart of the coup. The riot was not the heart of the coup. They were never gonna hold a Capitol. It's not like the US military would have surrendered. Oh, do you guys have the Viking dude or the shaman dude and 13 other guys are holding the Capitol? Ooh, right? So that was to intimidate the politicians and maybe murder them because they were chanting about hanging Mike Pence and they were had a plan to kill Nancy Pelosi, etc. Right? So that's super important and dangerous, but that's not how they were going to seize power. The way they were going to seize power is through the fake electors. And so I love this lawsuit. I think this is of all the things that they're doing, the January 6th commission, there's no results. There's never gonna be results except more Democratic fundraising, okay? So all of that stuff is, in my mind, pretty much nonsense, okay? But this could make a difference. If a court says, yeah, no, you're not allowed to be a fake elector, and so the plot was, and why were they chanting, hang Mike Pence? Because Mike Pence wouldn't agree to this insane plot where they basically do a political coup against America. Pence knows, Trump knows, they all know they didn't win. So they're saying, it's okay, Mike. And Bannon brags about this. Navarro wrote a whole book about it. These are Trump allies, Trump administration officials. They say, Pence, instead of doing his official duty, which is just to read who the actual winner is based on the real electors, they said, don't read it and say, no, we have to go back to the states, and this Republican legislators will then say the fake electors are the real electors, and then Trump will be president because we'll seat the fake electors so that he could win the electoral college. No, that's an actual literal plan they had. They even wrote it in a book
and talked about it.
Yeah, and Bannon talked about it on air. And that's why they were so mad at Mike Pence, because he ruined in their mind, the coup attempt. But the critical part was the fake electors, and they signed documents. So this lawsuit is an excellent start to hold them accountable. If it works in this state, they're gonna do it in the 6 other states where they had fake electors. But guys, the most important thing they should be doing is, it should actually lead to criminal liability. That is an actual insurrection against the government of the United States of America. That should have very serious criminal consequences to it. Otherwise, if there is no consequences, what are they going to do? Oh, next time, let's run the fake elector plan, the Green Bay sweep, and that'll work because apparently nobody's ever going to hold you accountable. Why not try a coup? If you lose an election, just bring in the fake electors.
Stop us from robbing the bank, but it let us kind of walk away. Let's try it next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's really terrifying about this, because like this fake elector plan, especially if you look at the way that they're trying to intensify their gerrymandering right now with the whole redistricting situation. There's a lot of states where state legislatures, you have Republican state legislatures and Democratic governors, right? Because of the gerrymandering that exists in those states. And so it's this really, really big problem where Republicans are incredibly overrepresented in state legislatures across the country. My concern with this lawsuit is that it ends up the way a lot of lawsuits happen during the Trump administration, because there's so many like right wingers that are stuffed into the courts thanks to Mitch McConnell. And that's basically where the judge might say, oh yeah, this definitely happened and this definitely was a terrible thing, but you don't have standing, so you're not the person that can like bring this lawsuit. I mean, you can ask who does have standing, and then obviously you'll get silence. But that's one of those things that I guess I'm a little concerned of, like in this regard, because like the unfortunate reality is there are a lot of people in the judiciary across the country who are sympathetic to the people who are trying to do the coup. There are a lot of people in Congress who are sympathetic to the people trying to do the coup, and so with that reality, this sort of false legitimacy that like these people are sort of depending on in order to, plan their future schemes, unfortunately isn't being challenged, because once again, the Democrats are playing the same game. They don't want to paint any Republicans as being illegitimate in any way, shape, or form, because then they're like, oh, the traditions, the propriety. And so like, I guess that kind of is my fear throughout all of this, that like that the legitimacy they're granted by the circle that they're in will prevent them from any consequence.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.